Hello friends, I am homeopath R.S. Saini. Today we will carry out and learn differentials between certain remedies. We will do differentials of Natrum Muriaticum with Phosphorus, differential of Natrum Muriaticum with Pulsatilla, and differential of Natrum Muriaticum with Sepia. Natrum Muriaticum and Phosphorus both belong to the periodic table of elements remedies, and Natrum it exhibits itself into the silica series, which is known as the relationship series. Phosphorus also belongs to the third row, the relationship series, and Muriaticum also belongs to the relationship series, which is the row 3 series of periodic table of elements. Pulsatilla, which is a plant remedy, and Sepia, which has been categorized as an animal kingdom remedy, is a mollusk. We will now carry out the differential of Natrum with these three other remedies, namely Phosphorus, Pulsatilla, and Sepia. So Phosphorus and Natrum, when we do the differential, are a bit difficult to separate from each other, but we will try how to differentiate between these two remedies. Physically, Phosphorus and Natrum Muriaticum, they look similar. They look thin and they are sensitive also. The main differential is on the personality of the two. The personality is totally different, which is presented in our clinical setups. The sensitive person who is evasive and withheld and withdrawn and leans back in the chair when sitting in front of you in the clinic is the Natrum Muriaticum personality, because Natrum Muriaticums are very closed, they are very reserved, they are very withdrawing, they do not like to contact, and they remain little away because they feel suppressed. They feel they might not again meet with any disappointment. They are guided with their past experiences, which are not good experiences, which are disappointing experiences, and therefore they feel kind of betrayed in any setup. Out of the experience of their lives in their previous days or previous years or previous months, they derive this lesson that it's better not to connect. On the contrary, Phosphorus element is very open, very extrovert, very expressive emotionally, and they are very engaging. They have a tendency to lean forward while in a clinical setup. They will try to be as close to the physician as possible. They will rather draw their chair near the physician, and they will rest their hands or elbows on the table and lean towards the physician because they want to establish a personal contact. They feel the need that I might be given attention. So that is the reason that they are very expressive, very diffusive, and very engaging with the physician. On the contrary, Natrum, as we have earlier seen, they are very withdrawing and they keep themselves away from the physician. They do not want to maintain a contact, direct contact with the physician. Likewise, when we differentiate Natrum with Pulsatilla, Pulsatilla is a remedy of the plant kingdom. Plant kingdom remedies are very sensitive, and Natrum Muriaticum is a remedy of the periodic table of elements. So Pulsatilla, when presents herself or himself in the clinic, they are very mild natured. They are very gentle and they are very yielding. You will see in the texts, we have read so many times written that it's a weepy and crying remedy. So whenever we see anybody weeping, we immediately jump to the conclusion that the person belongs to Pulsatilla remedy. But we need to see the subtle traits, the subtle differences between the crying or weeping of Pulsatilla. The Pulsatilla patient will start crying or will start weep while in the very beginning, first sentence of their case giving. Their history starts with weeping. Whereas Natrum muriaticum will also cry. Natrum muriaticum is also sensitive, but in a different way. Natrum muriaticum, because it's a withdrawing remedy, they hold back, they control themselves, their disappointments or sorrow in their life, which has made them behave like a reserved person. They will weep, they will cry, but not in the initial stages of their case histories, maybe in the middle or after they have totally given their case histories, they may weep or cry at the end of the case taking. Natrum muriaticums, they suffer internally. They do not try to bring up their emotions immediately. They feel hurt easily. But they have one more personality trait, that the person who has hurt them, they will never hurt back. Because Natrum muriaticums, they feel very dignified. They are dignity oriented. They do not want to bring themselves to the lower level with which the other person had dealt with them. So by this way, they deal with the situations and with the persons by sitting close-lipped, close-mouthed, with their emotions totally held inside. Now, there is another difference between Pulsatilla and Natrum muriaticum. Pulsatillas, they crave for sympathy. They crave for consolation. They crave for good words. They crave for the proper listening of their agonies, their histories, and they want their redressal with showing with love, care, and affection. They do not like to fight. They do not like to enter into any imbroglio. And Natrum muriaticums are also very peaceful remedies. They also want harmony. They do not like disharmony or quarrels in the relationships. But Natrum muriaticums, they are averse to sympathy. They are averse to consolation. They do not like sympathy from others. They do not like to be pitied also. And this trait of theirs brings them to feel dignified about themselves. Then the next remedy with which we are going to compare Natrum mur is the Sepia. Sepia is a remedy which belongs to the animal kingdom and is a mollusk. Sepia is very domestic work oriented. They take care of their children and families very intently. They're very excitable in the earlier stages, in the initial stages. But as they, devote themselves wholeheartedly by carrying out the domestic duties, by taking care of the children, by taking care of the husband, by taking care of all the responsibilities, they feel exhausted, they feel drained, they feel run down at the end of the day. You must have seen many ladies who were doing their, making their home and are domestic ladies, and they are handling, they are attending to their domestic work, attending to children, attending to husband, attending to other duties. They are as if they are dancing from morning till evening. And in this act, in this particular duties, doing their duties, they feel very exhausted. And this exhaustion at the end of the day makes them jittery, makes them feel indifferent to others. So they see a change in their regular behavior. The behavior becomes very malicious. They can be very cruel also at certain times. They become so indifferent to their children and to their loved ones because they have no energy to do extra. If at the end of the day they are asked to do a little bit of more work, say for example, prepare a cup of tea, they say, or even still again one more work, they will feel very upset and they can react in a very angry and indifferent mood. Muriaticum, on the other hand, as we already discussed, are very reserved, they are very closed, they are also very sensitive, they do not want any disharmony in the relationships, they do not want to quarrel, but they feel hurt easily. Their hurt, they keep it inside, they are dignified, they do not hurt the person back who has hurt their emotions, and in this journey they feel few steps above the person who is dealing or behaving bad with them. Muriaticum, since they do not like consolation, Sepias also weep if they are consoled. The weeping of Sepia comes out of the thinking that Sepias do not like the lip sympathy. They desire, if someone going to sympathize with them, that they should do it wholeheartedly. Otherwise, their mood is repulsive. They become so run down with the fulfilling of their domestic duties or duties towards their family and children that they become very lean and thin and flat looking in their physical outlook as well. They have very pale, run down looks. They look so lean, thin and enervated as if there is no more energy left in them. Whatever they do against their inner intentions. They cannot have the energy, sufficient energy to get up and get going because they feel responsibility has to be carried out. They do it against their inner wishes. Therefore, there is a rubric which tells us undertaking against their inner intentions. They take up the work, but the inner intentions are totally opposite to it. Undertaking opposite to inner intentions. There are two remedies in that, Phosphorus and Sepia. So, we have today spoken the differentials of these remedies within each other. So, next we will be trying to do the differentials between the remedies Phosphorus and Sepia, Sepia and Pulsatilla, so that we come up with the detailed and the very fine trait differences between the remedies so that we can apply them into our clinics, into the cases which we see on a day-to-day basis. Thank you, friends. Thank you for listening to me.